Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Coffee Chats with Coach Candy. Cheers. Good morning, and glad to see you all here. We are on Friday, Feature Friday today, Friday Feature, however you want to say that. And it is just such a joy to be here with you once again to wrap up another amazing week. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Yvette. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Martha. Love that everybody's jumping on at the same time. Happy Friday, y'all. Hope you are doing well. It is the end of another amazing, fabulous, incredible week, and we are ready to rock it out for Friday. As we know, it's Finish Strong Friday. It is Feature Friday. So good morning, everyone. Cheers. Get your cup of joe, get your tea, get your water, get whatever it is that you need to get you up moving and ready to engage this morning, because we've got some good discussion I know we're going to have once again. And like I said, it's always an honor and pleasure to have you all here. So welcome, everyone. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see who else is jumping on. Good morning, Terry. All right, so this morning what I want to do for Friday Feature is I want to talk a little bit about meditation. I know in working with a lot of my clients, and I know even for myself, that meditation is not always a space. Good morning, Shirley. It's not always a space that's easy for people. And sometimes I think we make it so much more complicated than it needs to be. And so what I wanted to do is I want to highlight a couple of the, I guess, high-level approaches for how you might meditate. First and foremost, I want you to realize there's no right or wrong way to meditate. Good morning, Elaine. There is a space about just quieting yourself down and getting into your body, feeling into your emotions, being able to just be still and listen to whether your body's talking to you, whether your mind's talking to you, whether your spirit's talking to you. And so I want to talk about just kind of the high levels of meditations and ways that you might approach it. And then what I'm going to do is give you a couple tools that have been very powerful for me, because I have had trouble oftentimes quieting down. I definitely have monkey mind that goes on. My brain is firing on all cylinders all the time, which is why I get to do the work I do, because I am constantly extracting information, distilling information, synthesizing, absorbing, whatever, and then turning it around and wanting to teach it and turn it into things, which means my brain is moving constantly. And that being said, I also know how powerful it is to slow my brain down, to allow myself to really feel into my body and create a better practice around mindfulness. And so meditation really is, it serves a couple purposes. One, it serves to help relax you. So it is a space to help you calm down. If you're facing anxiety, fear, stress, anger, or emotions that are more of those lower vibration energies, meditation is a great way to feel in, lean into your body, and really allow yourself that space of relaxation, that space of calm, that space to be more mindful about how you're going to approach a situation. It also creates that mindfulness. So it's that ability to be able to be in our body. It's the ability to be in our own essence. And so I want you to realize that meditation helps you create more awareness. And so for some of you who are struggling, and I know I have a lot of one-on-one conversations with many of you that show up. Some of you are in my mastermind groups. Some of you just The question has been around, I really feel like I don't have clarity about what's my next move. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I want to be doing. I feel like I'm getting called for something and I don't know what that is. And meditation can really help you settle into a space of deep awareness. Good morning, Mario. Welcome. And so I want you to think about meditation in terms of being a tool to help you relax, to help you create more mindfulness, to help you create more awareness, and help you just learn the art of stillness and going empty, which we talked about, I think last week or a couple weeks ago. They're all starting to blend together. We talked about allowing ourselves to go empty so that we're not in that space of always trying to push and force and fight, but we're allowing ourselves to really drop in. And it's only when you start to increase your ability to be mindful, your ability to be still, that you can increase that opportunity to go empty. And so, like I said, I want to talk about some different types of meditation, because I think a lot of people think you have to sit and go, and you have to do the vibrating humming, or you have to chant something. And while that's one way you can meditate, there are so many other ways. And I'm going to give you kind of 7 high-level ways that you can meditate. And note that there's all kinds of variations and things inside of there. I'm also going to give you a couple strategies. Some of them I've mentioned before, but ways to start a meditation practice right away that can be really simple and take all the pressure. It's kind of like people that get caught up with, how do I journal? What do I write? How do I structure it? And it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's simply a matter of starting. And what will happen is you will feel your way into what type of meditation really speaks to you. And I will say there's a couple types of meditation that work for me, and I don't always do the same kind. And so what I want you to do is I want you to think about how these might resonate for you. And so the first type of meditation that I want to talk about is called loving kindness meditation. And I actually have a couple friends who are just some power hitters out there that do a Loving Meditations app. It's actually what it's called, Loving Meditations. And it's specifically designed for cancer survivors and those that are the caretakers for cancer survivors. And it's really a way to allow people to drop into this space of deep love, deep compassion. And so it's about really centering yourself around love for yourself, love for others. And so there's guided meditations through that. There's different phrases or different frames that you can create for yourself that basically what you do is you stay in a space of deep love where you are probably repeating something over and over again, or you're doing this sort of walk into this really blissful space where you're just being able to draw in that love for yourself or that love for other people. A lot of times, like loving kindness meditations oftentimes are used for people that have had extreme trauma or PTSD, because it's a way to help them surround themselves almost with a bubble of love. And so it is a more still, typically, type of meditation, but it is a space where all you're doing is focusing on love. You're focusing on how to bring love in, you're focusing on how to bring love out. And really that's kind of the way that the messaging and the repeated, sayings or mantras tend to be, is it's just kind of an out and in, and it follows your breath. And it's really just a space to be kind to yourself, kind to others, and really drop into that space of deep compassion. And it's a great way to meditate when you have extreme anger. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Myra. Or you have depression, or you're anxious, when you've got a lot of those lower level vibrations, energies that are showing up. It's a great place to just kind of envelop yourself with this space of love. And so there's a whole practice around it, right? And a lot of times you might hear it called metta meditation. And so again, I'm just giving you kind of the high level to tell you what's available for you. And as we kind of wrap up today, and by the way, as I'm going through, I'd love comments if you've got a meditation practice right now, or if you have questions about this as I'm introducing some things that might be some new frames for you, or spaces that maybe you've been a little daunting for you, or maybe you've been a little apprehensive about. I want to introduce some ways to help you really ground yourself and get centered and be more mindful, and allow yourself to shift out of some of those negative vibrations, those negative emotions. And so, Terry, this was my first meditation revelation. Stare at a flickering flame for 10 seconds. Congratulations, you have meditated. Yes, that's actually one of the ways that I teach people to start meditation, is if you really struggle, because a lot of times, good morning, Kathy, if you struggle with where people say, follow your breath. And I know for me, when I first started meditating, the follow my breath was like following a monkey and watching it swing through the jungle or swing in the circus. Because following my breath, all kinds of stuff just started going through my brain where I'm like, wow, how come I'm breathing like that? Man, my breathing sounds shallow. How do I slow this down? Blah, 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 blah. And it was like monkey mind went crazy. And it literally was like watching a monkey just swing through the jungles of my mind. Watching my breath was really hard. And so sometimes we need a more simplified way to get ourselves centered. And one of the most powerful ways that you can start to get into a meditation practice is something just like what Terry said. Put a candle in front of you and literally just watch the flame. Don't focus on anything else. Just allow yourself, you might have some music in the background, but just follow the flame. And it's amazing. Set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and allow yourself to just follow the flame, you will start to understand the practice of emptying yourself. Because when you focus on one thing, and that is actually a type of meditation as well, that is what's known as a mindfulness meditation. So when you get into a meditation that's really watching that flame or watching your breath, but like I said, sometimes that following your breath, for me, that's like following a circus monkey all over the place, or a little squirrel run. It's really hard for me sometimes to just get into my breath right away. I might do that as a secondary piece of my meditation, but usually I need something that's a focal point. So it's either something that I just watch, and you can do this. The flame is nice because it actually moves, so it keeps your interest, and it allows your brain that wants to process something to kind of just watch. You also can just, for mindfulness meditation, you can simply just focus on a point. You can do mindfulness meditation anywhere. You could be in the grocery store and it could be totally chaotic and whatever, and all you need to do is stop for a minute and just focus. Maybe you focus on a certain type of food, or maybe you focus on something in the aisle, and maybe you focus, and all you do is you really, it's kind of like when you look at those 3D images. Do you know what I'm talking about? When those pictures, when you would let your eyes get kind of lazy, image that would come out, that's mindfulness meditation. That is a space where you're just focusing on one thing, and what you do is you're noticing everything about it. You're noticing the color, the shape, the edges, the lines, the depth, the richness, the packaging, the words, whatever, and you just focus on it. It's a really great way to bring you into a mindfulness, because what it's doing is it's bringing you into the present moment. It's bringing you into really acknowledging something around you. You can do this when you're out walking your dog. You can just take in the flower or the tree and really allow yourself a moment to notice everything about that tree, to notice everything about the way the leaves are shaped, the way the branches extend out, the roots, the trunk, the color, the depth of it, the circumference, everything, anything around it. If you give yourself that moment and breathe that in, that is a practice of mindfulness meditation. And that's one of the easiest ways to meditate, whether you have a flame in front of you, whether you just have a focal point, and you're just basically getting so, it's like those movies where you see like when somebody meets somebody across the room and like the room just goes zoom, and all they focus on is each other. That's mindfulness meditation. And so that's an opportunity for you to, oh, excellent. I love that, Yvette. I don't know anything about meditating, so this is good. Excellent. Swinging Monkey Breathing is the title of your next book. Oh, that's like book number 4. I've got so many books right now. And one of them is I'm Just a Duck, Swinging Monkey Breathing. That's hilarious. I might have to add that in there. Might be a chapter for sure. Can I meditate looking at a bottle of Jack? Actually, yes. I mean, I know you're being a little punchy there, Paul, but yes, you could meditate on anything. Mindfulness meditation is truly picking that one thing. So you could, and just to be, I know you're being punchy and a little tongue in cheek, and I'm going to tell you that yes, you could put a bottle of Jack, a bottle of your favorite, whatever, and sit there and look at the bottle. And what you're going to do is you're not only going to look at the bottle, you're going to look at the shape of the bottle. You're going to look at every edge, every line. You're going to look at the label. You're going to notice if it's perfectly straight, if it's slightly off. You're going to notice the words and the writing and the text. You're going to look at the color of the liquor inside that bottle. I mean, Jack's got a beautiful amber color, right? And so you can sit there, you could pour a glass of it. You could actually sit there and meditate on the texture, the color, the way that it captures the light. It doesn't matter what you choose to focus on. Mindfulness meditation is simply a way to draw you into the present moment and allow you to just focus. It allows you to take all the noise, and it's like those movies where you see kind of like all the noise fades away and all you see is them standing in whatever they're at. Usually it's when they're looking at another person, and not always, but it's that where the whole room goes still. That is mindfulness meditation. That's all you're doing. You're taking something, and I don't care what it is. It can be a bottle of Jack, a glass of Jack. It can be anything on the planet. It's a matter of really bringing your focus into one thing and allowing you to just see everything about. And so what you're doing is you're engaging all of your senses. You're engaging everything about really just focusing. And this is such a great meditation. And like I said, you can do this all the time. This is one of those meditations that the more you create practice around this, the more you are purposely going to create presence for yourself. You're going to be able to be more present, more aware, more cognizant of things going on, and you're going to start to see things you never saw before. It's going to allow you to focus better. This is a really great meditation for focus because it's going to help you cut out all the crap and all the noise and really let you kind of distill down and say, okay, this is. So think about when you're in your power blocks. And I know we haven't talked about power blocks at length when it comes to your ideal calendar and structuring your day and making sure that you're reclaiming your time back. But it is that space where you're going to go really deep and focus on one thing, the one thing that needs your attention. When you have created a mindfulness meditation practice, it's much easier for you to go really, really into one space for an hour or 2 hours and knock like some amazing stuff out. And so if you want to level up your game, if you want to enhance your focus, then what I want you to think about is creating that mindfulness meditation. And it's so easy. All you need is a focal point. Try it with different things. Try it with things that like usually are distractors for you. Really focus in and allow yourself to have that moment. So let's see, what else are you guys saying? Robin, I go to my favorite spot at the lake where I live and ground myself daily. It gives me peace and calm before I start the day. Does that count? Absolutely. Nature is one of the best ways you can meditate. And so again, when you go into a space like that, Robin, when you sit there and you actually like breathe in. So there is a meditation that's just all about breathing. I do walking meditations, which is just allowing myself to really be present in the walk that I'm taking and taking in everything about nature. I also am a person that I love to have a retention pond by me, and Peyton and I will go out there and I will just sit sometimes and watch the water. Water for me is such a powerful meditation space. The way it moves, the sound of it, whether I'm at the beach, the lake. I'm not necessarily one that likes to be in the water. In fact, that's a story for another day. I am not a person that likes to be in the water. Don't like anything touching me in the water. It completely freaks me out. That being said, I'm a Cancer and I love the water. I love the moon. And I will tell you, there's times that I go out when there's a full moon on the water, and that's such a beautiful space for meditation. So nature is a natural space for us to get more mindful. It's a space for us to meditate. There's so much we can focus on. And so think about that, Robin, when you go out and you have those morning walks, allow yourself to really focus on one thing. Allow yourself to really breathe in one space and just move that experience into a more mindfulness meditation. It will just enhance what you're already doing to start your day. But that absolutely counts. What else we got going on here? Hi, Yvette. Good to meet you. I'm not an expert by any means, but this has helped me figure out what people meant. Letting go of the clutter in your head and tension in your body, just to be present with yourself. It allows the subconscious thoughts that can't get a word in edgewise all day long to come out and your body to decompress and re-energize. It can be stupid simple, and that's how I learned to appreciate it. Absolutely. Meditating can be seriously simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it can really be just a matter of a couple minutes. A lot of times I only meditate for like 5-10 minutes, and then sometimes go into a deeper meditation, which is really cool. But we can really just ground ourselves in any moment to be present. Like I said, the mindfulness meditation is the easiest way to do that. It's just a matter of focusing on something. Robin, luckily I have been doing this for years, and I never knew it was mindfulness meditation. I love this. Awesome. I love that too. Yvette, I love watching the waves at the beach. Yes. And so when you really let your body get into that rhythm where you're watching the waves, when you're breathing it in, right? Because you're not just watching the waves, you're smelling the salt in the air, you're listening to the rhythm, you're getting all your senses engaged. That is a mindfulness meditation practice. It's allowing you to be still. It's allowing you to just ground and center. And so the one thing that you could do to elevate that is if you had a question or if you had something that you really wanted to kind of plant in your mind, plant it in your mind before you kind of get into that daze or whatever you want to call it, that kind of really quiet space, and just plant the seed and then allow yourself to focus on the waves. And when you do that, it's amazing that when you come out of that kind of trance, that's the word I'm looking for, all of a sudden, like there's things that just seem clearer, or there's things that you're like, wow, I don't know why, but I feel compelled that I need to call that person. Or, how come I never thought about that? And as you're coming out of that, things may drop in, and it may not always. Sometimes it's just a way to get you still. It's not that you're always going to get answers, but when you practice that, good morning, Mateo, when you practice that, or fish in the aquarium, great space to meditate. It gives you something to focus on. Meditation can be something as little as finding that space to get just really present and really honed in and zoned in, and it can be that simple. So mindfulness meditation is probably one of the easiest things. Yes, fire can be, or fish can be mesmerizing. So can fire. So can, listening to the wind or a storm outside, when you really let yourself participate and get inside of that space. Again, mindfulness meditation. So that is probably one of the easiest ways to start meditating, for sure. There's also what's called a body scan or progression relaxation. And this is simply being still and feeling into your body from head to toe. And so you're going to sit there and go, how's my head feel right now? Does it feel light? Does it feel full? Does it feel tense? Does it feel heavy? And what you're going to do is anywhere as you do that progressive body scan and you go through your body, anywhere that you feel tension, anywhere that you feel is like, this hurts. What I want you to do is I want you to, in that space, so maybe it's your shoulders, right? A lot of us carry a lot of tension in our shoulders. What you can do is you can breathe in, and as you breathe in, imagine that your shoulders are expanding, the muscles in your shoulders. So literally get into your shoulder and be like, okay, I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to, kind of really stretch it. And then when you let the breath go out, think about how it's contracting. And so you're in your mind going to release and contract, or contract and release. I said right, release and contract. That muscle, it's the same thing when you're working out. You breathe out, breathe in on the release and when you're working out, because it helps grow your muscles. So all you're doing is doing it in your mind instead of physically. So if there's anywhere where there's something getting stuck in your body, all you have to do is go, and you might lay down, you might sit, and you're like, ooh, my neck's feeling a little. Okay, so breathe in. I'm going to expand the muscle. And then I'm going to contract the muscle. And it's amazing how that is again another type of meditation. It's just getting into your body and releasing anything that is energy that's not serving you. So it's energy that's stuck, energy that's heavy, and all you're doing is going through and doing a progressive scan through your body. We do not spend enough time feeling into our body. And again, oftentimes we're doing that shallow breathing, which is, or we're holding our breath, so we have a lot of tension up in our shoulders and chest and back, and sometimes in our hips and our feet, and it doesn't matter. And when you breathe into that, and you can really visualize contracting and expanding that muscle or that space, what you do is you naturally start to release that energy, and it helps to relax you. And this is a great one to do before you go to bed, is to do a complete body scan and get all of that negative energy, all of that shit out of your body, and like completely release it, completely let it go. So again, that's another type of meditation. So I told you about the loving kindness meditation, told you about kind of that progressive body scan meditation, the mindfulness meditation. So that's 3. The other ones that I want to just kind of highlight is, one is the breath awareness meditation. And this is one I truly is not my favorite. And it is really getting into a space where you're watching your breath. And a lot of times they're like, don't try to control your breath, just watch your breath. And for me, that's just too still. It's not focusing on anything. And I really struggle with it, which is probably my biggest opportunity. And I can breath for me is like seriously watching a circus monkey go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and running all over the place and creating all these different like little tangents. It's just not easy for me. Doesn't mean I don't keep working at it, because I'm very big on things that challenge me are my opportunities for growth. I don't necessarily play in my weaknesses, but I do play in things that I know could grow me, that I find challenging, because that's where there's massive growth. So I like to do more guided meditations when it comes to meditating on my breath, because I like when people are like, okay, watch this about your breath, or notice this. And then once I have that breath awareness, they're taking me into more of a guided meditation. So all you're doing is focusing on your breathing. For me, like I said, I find this to be one of the most challenging types of meditation, because this is, let's see, the sound of bubbles in water. Yes. Oh my God. I love listening to water. Water is without a doubt a absolutely awesome meditation space. Looks like Mateo shared one of his favorite meditations. Thank you for that. definitely go check that out. I will be sharing more as we go along. Like I said, today I'm more introducing the idea of meditation and the fact that it doesn't have to be so complicated. I'm going to introduce more tools around meditation because it is something I know is extremely helpful for people. I'm even going to share with you some of my favorite guided meditations and some of my favorite tools around that, because I want you to be successful here, and I want you to know that there's so many resources, so many ways to approach this, and then just watching fish swim around without a care. Absolutely. Diaphragm breathing is good. Yes, that is one that if you want to get into your breath awareness, some of the breathing tools that I've taught you, one of them being the box breathing, the Navy SEAL technique, which is that like 4x4x4x4, or in my case, more like a 10x10x10x10, but it's where you're inhaling and you're taking it in from your core. And so you inhale on a count of a certain number, you hold that breath on a count of a certain number, you release that breath on a certain number, and then you allow yourself empty for that same count of that number. And so doing that actually will create more breath awareness that does allow you to really get centered in that space. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your breath that can bring you into that present mindfulness, and that could be a meditation. And so just know that breath awareness is the fourth one that I'm sharing with you today. One of them is Kundalini Yoga, which again, this is another space I struggle with. Yoga is not my sweet spot. It's something I continue to challenge myself with. I'd rather box, which also allows you that breath. And I've talked about how Joseph Pilates was a boxer and boxing coach, and that's why he created Pilates, so that his boxers would actually have more breath, more presence, be able to show up and go empty more, because it's in the empty space. It's the challenge, even when you do that kind of box breathing. And so Kundalini breath is more of a physical activity form of meditation. And so it blends movements, often softer movements, with deep breathing and mantras. And so again, this might be really taking some people to kind of that next level, but there are ways, and yoga is a great way to really get into your breath and be still and do your best to quiet down the monkey mind. But Kundalini Yoga is one of those really good strategies that allows you to get into that really mindful space. It also is a great way to get rid of negative emotions, because you get to kind of move them out of your body. It improves focus, memory, all those different types of things. Let's see, what is the other one? So that's 5. I have 2 more I want to share with you. And so it also, I will tell you that yoga does a great job, especially if you've done some of that progressive body scan, to push out some of that pain in your body. Kundalini yoga is really good if you have back problems, hip problems. It really helps you open up meridians in your energy meridians in your body. It opens up muscles in a more gentle way than just regular stretching and some other things. And so when you match that with your breath, it can be extremely powerful. Myra, thank you for the earworm that I needed to hear. The areas that I struggle in or the challenges I face are where my greatest areas of opportunity to grow. Absolutely. If something is pushing you and it's not, and I want you to realize the difference. And it was interesting because last night I, again, was on the live cast with Dean Graciosi. And if you guys did not see it, go out and check it out. He is just, oh my God, I just love that man. I was ready to sign up for the KBB all over again. Just absolutely love that space. But I love that he talked about, too many of us focus on our weaknesses, which I am such a big believer of. I believe anytime you're spending time in your weakness, you're detracting away from really honing and stepping into your gifts and your strength. Now, that being said, what I'm talking about here is ways to grow your strength, which is your mindfulness, your focus, your ways of exhibiting and extending out your gift. So there are things that challenge you that are very much your opportunity for growth. And so knowing how to distinguish between the two of those, because if it is something that's challenging you, that you feel hard, that's tough, know that there's probably massive growth on the other side. And so I'm a big fan of those things that I find to be and hard and whatever are things that I oftentimes want to master, because I also know that I'm mastering the benefits that come with that. Like I said, mindfulness, focus, relaxation. Especially when I was in corporate, relax was like the 4-letter word for me. I had no idea what that meant. I was so wound up all the time that to really be more mindful about that has been a game changer for me. And so I know that, which is one of the reasons why I'm sharing. The 4x4 breathing is also the #1 mental health tool experts teach kids with panic and anxiety issues. Yes, because there's something about that empty space. And that's where it's mostly tough for people, is to allow themselves to just sit in their body with no breath. And it's why we have you start with the 4x4x4, because oftentimes you can breathe in for 4, you can hold for 4, you can let go for 4, but it's the empty space of not taking another breath in that becomes challenging for people. And so that's the space to really grow. That's the space, that's the push or the challenge to work through, because the more you're able to do that and create that empty space, the more you can drop in at any moment and really be mindful and really be more present, because that empty space is to your advantage. And so then what I want you to think about is there's Zen meditation. And so this is sometimes called Zazen, and it's a form of meditation that is more of a Buddhist practice. And so this is to really be in a comfortable position. You focus on breathing and mindfully observe your thoughts without judgment. And so again, this is one that can be challenging for me, because to observe my thoughts without having a commentary running behind the scenes sometimes can be really difficult. But this is truly just to let whatever monkey mind wants to tell you, let your thoughts just pass, and all you're doing is observing. It's kind of like watching this dance or this like ping pong. For me, it's more like ping pong, where you're just watching thoughts. You're just watching, you're just observing. You're just like, oh, that's interesting, that's interesting, that's interesting, with no commentary, no judgment, no criticism. And again, that's one that probably takes some practice. And oftentimes that guided meditation really helps with that, because it lets you go to a place where you can kind of quiet down first, and then you're in a garden or you're in this beautiful path or you're somewhere, and it's kind of like, what are your thoughts telling you? What are you hearing right now? What is the message that you're getting? And so it does it in a more kind of structured way, but Zen meditation sometimes can activate your monkey mind in a deliberate way so that you can just kind of know what's bouncing around in your head. What are you thinking about? But it does give you a way to really kind of quiet that down, or just observe. Just be able to notice. And so it's more of a noticing type meditation. And then the last one, and this is one I also really like, is transcendental meditation. And this is one where oftentimes you come up with a mantra or you come up with a word. And Brendan teaches this, Brendan Burchard. I love when he teaches this. He's like, one of his is just to truly repeat the word relax. And so he sits in a space where he starts to control his breathing and bring it down. And he's just like, relax, 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 relax. And it's interesting because even some of the meditations that I do, Deepak and Oprah do 21-day free challenges oftentimes. And I love meditating with Deepak, because he will get into one where he gives you a phrase, and it's usually something like, I can't even, hum, sa, hum, whatever. It's a way for your body. It's the vibration of the words, and it has a meaning for what it's helping you open up, whether it's abundance, wealth, releasing fear, looking at how to attract prosperity, whatever it might be. So it gives you a frame based on kind of the anchoring thought. So he tells you, here's the anchoring thought. He wants you to think about that. And then he gives you a mantra that you repeat over and over and over again. And then what happens is he gives you kind of this 20 minutes of open space, and you're getting into a space where you're kind of over your head. You're just kind of like hum, sa, hum, sa, hum, sa. And you do it with your breathing. And I swear, every time I do it before I go to bed, I'm laying in bed before I sleep. And like, I will think that I can't quiet down. And all of a sudden I hear him ring the chimes at the end after the 20 minutes. And I'm like, where did I go? Like, there's this space I can't account for. I just went. And I used to think, oh, the chimes are going to go. Now I'm going to be wide awake, can't sleep. No, as soon as I turn off the meditation and the chimes play, I turn over in bed and I sleep like a baby. And it's amazing because it really just allows me to get down. And so transcendental meditation is really more around anchoring yourself in a thought or anchoring yourself in a mantra that you're just really holding on to as you go through this meditation. And it's just something that you're repeating and something that you come back to. If you find yourself getting distracted or like monkey mind creeps in, all you do is go back and you say the mantra. All you do is go back and say the mantra. And I find that when I can have that repetition, again, it's focusing on something that's not in my head. It's focusing on something that I have to think about the words that I'm saying. It disrupts that pattern for that noise and some of that monkey mind. So again, just wanting to kind of introduce some thoughts to you. Thank you, Martha. Have a great weekend as well. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about, there's a couple really great tools out there if you're like, I really want some help meditating. And there's 3 apps that I highly recommend, 2 that I use, and one's the third one that I know other people really enjoy. The first 2 that are ones I use, one is the Calm app. It's C-A-L-M. Um, it is amazing. First of all, because you can just listen. They have some really great mindful music. There's one in particular, it's called Celestial Heavens or Celestial something. That is one of the things I listen to almost every night in addition to my shift soundtrack. It's also one that when I'm on a plane and it's total chaos, kids are screaming, some guy's talking way too loud, I will allow myself to anchor in and I will meditate on the plane and I get really mindful and I just listen to this repeated pattern in this music and it's just beautiful. So I love the Calm app. The other thing that, and you can get this for free, I have the paid subscription because I want all of the bells and whistles and all of the different meditations, and every day they do a 10-minute meditation that you can get for free that you can dial into, and you can do it with the music in the background or without. And it's really powerful. It's guided meditations. It walks you through and it's 10 minutes long. The other app, and it's not the one I use, but it's another app that does the same thing, is called Headspace. And it also can let you do 10 to 20 minute kind of meditations that are guided and helps you really get centered and grounded in that space. The other app I do use, and this is more to help me have more mindfulness in my focus, is called Brain.fm. And it's one, I love it so much for when I want to have a power block and go deep for an hour or two. It's because there is more and more studies that show that based on the frequency of the music, it will dictate whether or not you're in a relaxed state and ready to go, energized state, or a really deep focus space. And so what they've done with Brain.fm is they have relaxation ones, they have focus ones, they have different ones. And so it's music, and it's not no words, no anything. It's repeated patterns. It's music that within truly, I don't know, 2 minutes, you are so locked in. And what's amazing is when I listen to Brain.fm and I get into a focus space, I am so productive. And as soon as and it only allows you to go up to 2 hours, because again, it's making you break that pattern, get up, move, do things. And when it goes off, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And I feel like I brought back into reality. I go into such a cocoon. It is one of the most powerful ways to help you get grounded and centered. And I do not get into a focus space without playing Brain.fm. It is so amazing to lock me in and help me be really present in whatever I'm focused on. And so I share both those tools. Calm, C-A-L-M, and Brain.fm are two of the most powerful apps. And if you are someone that really has a hard time with, attention deficit disorder, if you're squirrely, if you're all of, they are phenomenal to bring you in, and I cannot recommend them enough. And so both of them, you can do the free version. I think you can do Brain.fm for like 5 times for free. They are minimal investment. They are so worth it, and they will truly change how you approach both your calm relaxation space and your deep focus present space. And knowing that you can attract and get that coming. You can always go out and look up some of the free stuff too on Amazon or Spotify or something that just says music for focus. There's all kinds of spaces out there. I wanted something that really I could test out that worked for me. So let's see, Robin, love your chats. They always make me think, and I'm running out early so I can go to the lake before my first appointment. Awesome. Enjoy your weekend as well, Robin. Have a wonderful mindful meditation out by the lake. Brain.fm, going to look for that. Yes, it is absolutely amazing. You will love it. It's it's awesome. Oh, Jeff, thank you. Candy, you're a game changer. Keep up this amazing gift you have. Your passion and knowledge is so influential. One day I will make it to Austin. Until then, I'll stick you to coffee chats. I love that. And for those of you that do, I'm going to plant a seed, want to come out to Austin, and I think I'm actually about to lock down the contract on it. As some of you have even asked, when's the next 3-day and when can we play in a deep space together? Just to put this on your radar, I will be doing my next 3-day in Austin, October 18th through 20th. So we're going to do a weekend this time. So for some of you that have had challenges with coming during the week, this will be a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it will be 3 full days. We will rock it out. It is getting deeper and deeper each time, and we will do stuff like this where you will be able to practice meditating. You will be able to practice really getting into that deep mindful space. So if it is something that is interesting to you, whether you're here locally or you are afar, I am giving you plenty of notice. I will be announcing all the details for that soon, but October 18th through 20th, will be the next deep immersion space for my 3-day. There will be some other ways to play as well. I've got some masterminds coming up, some doing Brene Brown's work that I'll be announcing. And so I will be sharing all of that with you, as well as just putting it out in mass capacity in emails and social media. So always have things going on. So thank you for that, Jeff. I appreciate that and can't wait for you to come to Austin. Guide language. Absolutely. There's tools everywhere. There's so many resources. Like I said, I'm sharing the ones that speak most to me. And for me, it's the Calm app and it's the Brain.fm. I love those tools. I love that I have them. I can travel with them. I don't have to go download a bunch of videos off YouTube. I do go out to YouTube at times and get different guided meditations. There are people like Gabby Bernstein and any of the Hay House. You can go to Hay House and get some free meditations. There's all kinds of free meditations. I've pulled so many free meditations off, whether they be written guided ones or other people's audios that are kind of their giveaway. So there's all kinds of resources. I just wanted to give you something that for me, especially with traveling, I can take either one of those apps with me anywhere, and they work. They help me sleep, they help me focus, and they help me enhance that practice of mindfulness and meditation. And so truly hope and trust that this has been helpful for you. Hope some of you will take on the opportunity to really start to install a practice around meditation, whatever that might look like for you. It might start with a candle. It might start with something small. And just allow yourself to be in a space where you are being with yourself. You are being more mindful. You owe that to yourself. You owe that space. And like Tony Robbins said, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, then you need an hour. And I want you to really think about that. I don't want to hear any of you give me the excuse that I don't have 10 minutes to meditate. If you don't have 10 minutes to meditate, then you need at least an hour. And I mean that sincerely, because you're not honoring what you need to show up at your best and highest level. And so it's only when we slow down, it's only in the empty space, it's only in our stillness that the growth happens, and that we can truly tap into our full potential and our ability to serve at a higher level. And so I'm going to leave you with that so that you go out and finish strong for Friday. I want you to just, bring your best A game today. Remember, Friday is where most people fall off. This is your opportunity to add that extra level of value, that extra level of presence, that extra level of being who you are and showing up and playing full out. So with that, I love you all. Always thank you for showing up. You make my mornings so beautiful. Even when it's tough sometimes and I'm like, man, I'm kind of tired this morning, not sure I want to show up. You help me show up every day. And so thank you. Thank you for all of that. And thank you for all of your thoughts, your insights, and your shares. I want you all to have a beautiful and fantastic weekend. I love you. And I will talk to you all on Monday. See you at 7:30 Monday morning. Bye, everyone.